Hey everybody, today we're going to be covering the top free-to-play heroes in the game. Some things with this, we're going to cover branch by branch, so we're going to do Army one video, Navy the next, Air Force the following, and then we're also only going to be covering the completely free heroes, and I'm going to rank them. I'm doing this because I know in some of the newer servers I've seen that they don't have all the same heroes, or some of them aren't free-to-play in the new servers, so I want to make sure I kind of cover for everybody and not just the older servers. So with that, let's jump in. The first one we're going to do today is Army. So in case you didn't know, the Army heroes are located right here. So you have Tywin, Alex, Sam, Lee, Hongyu, Yusha, Bradley, Freidman, and Gira. I don't exactly know which ones it is on the newer server, but that's what we're going to rank at the end. And we'll just come to this screen and I'll write the numbers right on here for you. So the first hero is Tywin. Tywin's a trigger hero. He does 117 damage, and what it does is when it triggers, it attacks once and then it attacks the same target again. The downside with Tywin is that second attack a lot of times can be wasted because it will attack the same tile regardless whether you killed it or not, so you can waste that second tile. The next hero is going to be Bradley here. Bradley has a 47% HP shield that he starts or uses at the beginning of the battle. He also does have a skill that increases your army damage. Little note about that army damage: it's not army damage overall; it's your base army damage. So that does play an important part in the equation, meaning it's not actually a true 20%. It's more of a smaller percent of that, but still a very, very good hero for Army. The next is Yusha. She does a trigger also. So when the Army units are attacking, there's a chance that Yusha will attack and deal damage to 5 random targets, 68% damage to each one. So a lot of hers is just how often she triggers is kind of her downfall, but she does attack 5 random targets at 68%. So you're talking 340% damage, which is a lot. So the next hero we're going to cover is Lee Hongyu. Hers is a high explosive trigger, and it causes 40% damage to 2 enemy targets. So that's an 80% total. Again, her downfall is her trigger, and it's definitely a lot. And her skill does increase the trigger chance, but it's still just not enough to make up for how low percentage that is. Sam is interesting. There's a chance that your army units will launch jamming bombs after each attack. The target will not be able to attack for the round. So what that means is you're not only silencing the unit from attacking, you're also silencing the hero from triggering on that unit. So something to keep in mind if you're facing somebody that might be a bigger opponent or somebody that you normally can't fight. He might actually be useful in certain scenarios, just not all of them. The next hero we have here is Freidman. Freidman is the Air Force killing guru. So after the battle begins, enemies' Air Force will be paralyzed. Damage taken by the enemies will be increased by 34.4%, and their normal attack has a 31.6% chance of failure. So not only does he increase the damage they take, he also makes it so they might not attack again. In this one, though, you will see that the skill will not be affected, so that means that their skill can still trigger. So if their unit doesn't attack, the skill on that tile can still trigger. But that's pretty solid for taking down air to increase the damage taken by 34%. That's a lot of damage, especially being that Army already has the advantage and has suppression over air. So he definitely would be an Air Force killer, and at any level, just so you know. Not very useful outside of killing air. Alex is a trigger hero. Your army attacks have a certain chance of becoming firebombs. These ignite the enemy, causing 151% burning damage. 151% is a lot. So things to keep in mind with him is the trigger. So the higher his skill, the more it will trigger. So if you're able to get his skill high level early on, it definitely is worth having him. Gira is the most deceiving of the army heroes. So after the battle starts, it increases the reduced damage taken for your army units by 45%. That is the base level. damage reduction. That is not the end level. So it's not taking the total damage that the person's supposed to do and reducing that by that 45%. It's taking the base level of army and reducing that by 45%. So just so you know. And then each time the enemy launches a normal attack on our troop, the hero accumulates 1 rage. When the rage reaches a maximum of 7, our army will consume all the rages in the next round and fire a fatal bomb, causing 325% damage. So her skill is all over the place. You have the trigger, or you have the rage part of it, and then you have her damage reduction. The two things don't really amount to much, because by the time you get to it, you're pretty much dead because she's useless. Increases the trigger effect, so her skill is actually useless. I just keep all my exclusives there just so I can kind of see them as I'm going through my videos and not have to dig around for you guys. So those are the army free heroes. I believe I covered everybody. So now we will jump in and we will rank them. So if I am a 2 hero person, I will be using Yusha. She will always be number 1. So you guys know she is the best free to play army hero. And honestly, even as a non free to play player, she's not a bad army hero. The only time is when she decides not to trigger, but she's still a really, really feasible army hero, even at the not free to play level. The next best hero I would say would be Bradley. He actually pairs really nicely with Yusha, even though his skill can be deceiving. That HP shield kind of allows her to trigger more, which causes you to be able to win. I'm going to go ahead and rank right now. Gira is number 8. She's probably the worst. And Sam is right behind her at number 7. Then you probably would go with Alex, in my opinion. He is number 3. Tywin's number 4. I'd put Freidman at number 5. Oops, sorry, that's a bad number 5. And Hongyu at number 6. So if these were my heroes, this is what I'm using. If I'm a free to play hero with, or player with 2 heroes, I'm using Yusha Bradley. If I'm a 3 hero person, I'm using Yusha Bradley Alex or Yusha Bradley Tywin. Alex and Tywin are kind of a toss up. It kind of depends on how honestly which one you get more of, because if you're free to play, a lot of times you're just kind of going off of what 5 stars you're able to get. But if I'm kind of working my way up the heroes, my dream march as a free to play 3 hero player would be Yusha Bradley Alex. But these are just the free heroes. I want to stress that this isn't, you can't get the gem heroes or anything like that. So here's your army. We'll be making the Navy and Air Force ones later this week, early next week, depending on my time and my schedule. So with that, I hope you all enjoy it. Please remember to like and subscribe if you do, and see ya.